Okay, let's briefly talk about what is the actual answer here. The answer is royalty. Now, why? Why royalty is the answer. If you look at the options, then you can see some of the options outright do not make any sense, which means they are not fit for the given context. Words like floaty, for example, floaty means something that can float and does not make any sense here. Announcing a floaty for artist, that does not even mean anything, right? And bravery for artist, loyalty for artist, royalty for artist, all of them are grammatically possible. But if we think about their meaning, then royalty is a better word, because royalty means it's the amount that you get in return of your service. So royalty is the money paid to writers, or singers, and so on. So these are the kind of people who create different things, and this money is paid to them for their intellectual contribution. So it's more like intellectual property. If you get money for your intellectual property, that means you are getting royalty. So that makes sense here because these people are writers. So royalty makes sense. Now, if we move to the second one, but that ignores the truth that copyright law is what is it? Now, my suggestion for questions like this, when you have two gaps very close to each other, is to skip these questions and do the others. Because when two gaps are very close to each other, it becomes a little difficult to guess the context. And without knowing the context, of course, we cannot answer the question that easily. So in questions like this, where two gaps are very close to each other, it's better to go to the next sentence. And that's what we are going to do here. I'm going to skip this one and this one for now to move to the last one. Now, in this one, what do you think is the answer? I'll give you a clue. The answer is based on a common collocation in English. Okay. While answering some of the questions, it is quite important that you understand meaning of the words as well. If you don't know the meaning, then it becomes difficult to answer the question. Garnish is a word which means, garnish means to decorate, especially food. You know how some chefs decorate their food before they serve to customers? What they are doing is they are garnishing. So that is garnish. So here, garnish would not make much sense. And the other one that we have here is reaching the benefits. Again, we know that this particular gap is looking for a word which means to gain benefit, to get benefit. Now, because it means to gain benefit, some of us might think that gaining the benefits of is a better choice because that's what the author is trying to say. And this is exactly where we have to apply our understanding of collocations, because collocations are natural combinations of words which are more commonly used by the native speakers. Now, it's similar to, before I tell you the answer here, let's talk about this one. Do we say okay, not this one. Do we say I ate my meal, or do we say I had my meal? Which one is a better expression? Had my meal or ate my meal? Which one do you think is the better expression? I had my meal. Correct. The reason is, although what you're trying to say is you ate something, had my meal is a more natural expression because that's how native speakers speak. And what that means is, if you are given options where there is a word which gives the sense you want, and there is a word which is a more natural combination, you should go for that. And that you can know only if you have practiced a lot. And here the answer is reaping, because reaping the benefits is a very commonly used collocation. Reaping the benefit, or reap the benefit. To reap the benefit of something means to get the benefit of something that you started earlier. To reap means to cut, to harvest. You know how we plan something and then harvest it later? So when we plan, we don't get the benefit immediately. We have to wait. And after, maybe depending on what we have planted, the harvesting time may come after maybe 5 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. So to reap the benefits is just like that. You did something, you waited, and and then you get the benefit in return after some time. That's why reap the benefits is a more natural expression here, and that's the answer. So what's the main point here? The main point is there are certain collocations which are more likely to repeat, more likely to be used in the exam, and you should make sure that you remember those collocations for the exam, because those kind of questions cannot be answered in any other way if you don't remember the collocations. Now let's go back to the questions we skipped, but that ignores the truth that copyright law is something recently by the Free Trade Agreement with the US, which required extension of copyright to 70 years after death. Now, what could be the answer here? Let's think about that. The copyright law is a what? Positive thing, a negative thing? Think about that. And if you read after this sentence, you see, is it scandalous that really valuable copyrights end up in the ownership of corporations? And they are saying that, is it something that is just a scandal? Scandal means something which is not true and exaggerated. Now, if we look at the options, what options do we have? Insult, scandal, slander, humiliation. That copyright law is a insult, scandal, slander, and humiliation. Which one do you think is the answer? Is it a scandal? Is it slander? Is it humiliation? Is it insult? If you are feeling confused, again, go to the next cap and check that one as well to see if there is anything that may help you in picking the right option. In this one, we have few words which might be a little difficult. For example, exacerbated. The meaning of this word exacerbated is to become worse. Exacerbate means to become worse. To get worse, to become worse. And other words, I think, are not that difficult for you. You perhaps know the meaning of these words. Achieve means to get something. Exacerbate means to make something worse. Accumulate means to gather something. And exercise means, now remember, exercise can be used in different ways. This word can be used in different ways. Exercise, one meaning of exercise we all know, that's a physical activity that we do. That is exercise, and that's a noun. And usually when you use this word as a verb, then meaning slightly changes. You usually exercise your authority or power. To exercise authority or power. Exercise authority, to exercise your power. So exercise in that sense means to use your authority, to use your power. Okay, so it's a formal word for using something officially. Exercise is a formal word for using something officially. Now let's look at this option. Let's find out what it means here. Recently, achieved by, exacerbated by, accumulated by, exercised by. Now, what may have happened? Do you think it may have become better or worse? That's the first thing you have to think about. And here, because they are criticizing everything, they're saying everything is wrong, but that ignores the truth that copyright law. Ignoring the truth means you are not looking at the right thing. You are not looking at the right thing means you are doing the wrong thing. Now, if we look at all the options, it is just one word, which means to become worse than before. That is exacerbated. So by looking at the overall context, we get to know that things are not getting better. Things are not going in the right direction. That's why exacerbated is a better choice here. Now, we have seen that the overall context here is negative. They're saying things are going in the wrong direction. Things are not happening in the right way. They are not doing things in the right way. So everything is going in the wrong direction. Means most likely the word we are looking for here is also a negative word. But the problem here is all the four words we see here are negative, which means in this case, the examiner is trying to see how much you know about these words. Insult means to say something bad or to do something bad against someone. Scandal, as I say, is a piece of information which is exaggerated. Humiliation means when you feel ashamed of doing something, you feel embarrassed of doing something. Slander perhaps is a new word for some of you. Slander is, how you spread rumors about someone, some wrong things about someone. For example, you say that, let's say that someone was involved in some kind of scam, someone stole something from somewhere, or this is like a wrong piece of news. Slang and slander is more like a false statement. It's a very formal word. It's mostly used in legal context, and it's mostly used in journalism. When, let's say that, let's imagine this. Let's say a journalist published a piece of news saying somebody was involved in corruption. And let's say everything the person said is actually not true. That was just made up fact. Then that's a slander. So slander is you can say false statement against someone. You are trying to harm someone by ruining their prestige, by ruining their reputation. So that's a slander. Now, looking at all the options here, we now have to think what could be the proper answer here? What could be the most appropriate answer here? Could it be insult? Could it be slander? Could it be humiliation? Could it be scandal? So as I said, humiliation is embarrassment. Insult means to do something wrong against someone. Slander is a false statement. And a scandal, on the other hand, means exaggeration of something. If let's say that something is blown out of proportion, that is a scandal. Something really bad about someone, where you are trying to get the benefit by spreading those rumors, that is scandal. So which one do you think is a better choice here? Some of you have already shared your answers, but still, which one do you think is a better answer here? And that is scandal. So scandal is you are doing something that is ruining the reputation of another person by damaging their reputation, by damaging their image. So that is a scandal. And we know about different kinds of scandal. So this is a proper word here, the word required. So these are 4 correct answers.